3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We're the Real Pineapple, and they call me Mr. Glass.
Okay, we just had to start recording again because of a technical difficulty, and Hunter just dropped the Mr. Glass impersonation twice on me, and it
Boom.
was even better. Even better the second time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. This is your humble co-host, Hunter, here, and I'm joined by the pride of Ireland. I'm here with Colin. Colin, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Talking about pretty sweet movie here, and it's had a couple sequels. One of them's about to come out next weekend.
Yeah, coming out on Friday. I'm seeing it Saturday morning. Saturday night, actually. I'm gonna hit up Burger Me before and get a little hamburger up in me. But dude, so Unbreakable. So I think it's kind of crazy to think about the fact with Unbreakable. We have to keep in mind that superhero movies weren't where they are now back then. This was 2000 when Unbreakable came out. Guys, it was 19 years old.
Crazy.
Which is crazy to think about. It'll be 19 years old this November. And this is still one of the best performances Bruce Willis has ever had, which, again, is crazy. What I think is just a trip to me is not only how brilliant, and I don't use that word often, but brilliant this movie is, but honest to God, man, if superheroes existed in the real world, like I think a lot of people would go ahead and maybe some people might lean towards Kick-Ass maybe as far as like a quote real world unquote representation of it. But you think about the grounded origin story of David Dunn and of Mr. Glass. It's crazy how the movie starts off with, with David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character, being a real big man, basically going, "Oh, hey, this girl has a hip tattoo. Let me go and take my wedding ring off here real quick."
Oh yeah, it starts in a really chill way.
Yeah, like he sees. I mean, and admittedly, the girl's gorgeous. Do not misunderstand. But he's married. He's married to Claire from House of Cards. He's married to Robin Wright Penn. Robin Wright now because she was married to Sean Penn. God, that's weird to think about. But he's married to Robin Wright, and he starts talking to this girl like, "Oh, like, hey, like, what you doing on the train?" It basically starts off like the Commuter, but it's way better than the Commuter. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, can I tell you a little story about that scene?
Please.
Yeah, so my wife and I, we went and saw Split when
Your
it came
wife,
out.
sorry.
Yeah, my wife. Yeah, so Nikki and I went and saw Split in theaters, and she loved it. We both thought it was great. But she had never seen Unbreakable, so she was like, "I don't get the part at the end where Bruce Willis says they called him Mr. Glass." And I was like, it's this crazy tie-in to a movie that M. Night Shyamalan did back in 2000, Unbreakable. And she's like, "Oh, well, we have to watch it." And we finally watched it a couple of days ago. So the movie starts, and she sits down, he takes his wedding ring off, and Nikki's just like, "Oh, what a scumbag." I'm like, she's just like, "This movie's about him?" And I was like, "Yeah, I forgot about this scene." This is pretty funny. I'm like, "Yeah, he's not actually the best dude to start out with, but you'll learn to like him."
You will. I mean, it's a very, now, to be fair, him and his wife are separated at the time. Like, just to throw that out there. He's not pulling, some Trump shit where he just is being a goon. But, yeah, just throw it out there to play devil's advocate. But
not actively looking to get things working either.
Exactly. Like,
he's not minding the separation at that moment.
Yeah, like it's almost like him and his wife are like the government because they're shut down from each other. Wink.
Oh, topical.
Yeah.
I bet you can pinpoint when this was made.
Yeah, exactly. God Trump is a goon, but sorry, no Trump rants. Sorry, anyways, but what's crazy is it cuts to Elijah, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson, who I don't think we appreciate how genuinely good of an actor Samuel L. Jackson is. I mean, I know he yells motherfucker like as loud as he can, and does is super suave and badass, but this is one of his most grounded performances. So you see, pardon me, young Elijah, and his mom, comes up to him and goes like, "Oh, hey, I have a present for you," and I'm blanking on the name of the disease he has, but his bones are just extremely brittle, and he has type 1, by the way, so it could be way worse for him. But his bones will literally break like glass, and so he says, he goes like, "Oh," she goes, "Oh, I have a present for you," and he goes, "Oh, where is it?" "Oh, it's outside." What? And you see him, and his arm's in a sling because he'd broken his arm, which I broke my finger one time, and I went, "Oh man, that is really painful. I don't want to break anything else." So I would imagine breaking your whole arm would not feel great. So when you see that, and he goes across the street and gets the present, it's Action Comics, which I went, "That's really cool." Oh, there's a duck back there.
Yeah, did you hear that duck?
Yeah, I did. Oh god, those mallards were just a pain. But you see Samuel Jackson, Elijah, walk across the street, and his mom goes, "Hey, I've got a lot of other comics I bought for you. You just have to keep walking across the street," which I thought was really sweet, because to be that fragile to the world and to be that guarded, that's got to just be it's got to be a burden on itself to know that you're that brittle, and to have that strength to even just walk outside. It's crazy to really think about. So when you think about it, what's crazy about this movie is that it's a tale of two opposites. You have David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character, who is invulnerable. Like, he's so strong. There's a great scene of him lifting weights where I remember. So to throw it back here to you, Colin, here for the Central Coast, there's this theater in San Luis Obispo, California. Don't think it exists anymore. It's called the Palms, or it was called the Palms.
Love the Palms. And
one of my favorite minutes of me and Papa Hunter, pointing up to the sky there, we went and saw us together. And I remember this was one of my first exposures outside of Marvel and DC to a superhero in the real world, and that 13, I think I was 12 when I saw it. So let's see, 89, so it was 87. Yeah, I would have been like 12, 13 when I saw this, and this was mind-blowing to me as a kid. It was like, oh my gosh, what? Like a grounded superhero story? And the twist at the end of this is still mind-blowing to me. What were kind of your first thoughts when you saw Unbreakable?
Yeah, I was blown away. And this was when M. Night Shyamalan was like really becoming like this household name. This was made a year after he did The Sixth Sense, which like basically took the country by storm. It was like a revolutionary horror film. And it had a crazy twist, obviously. It can't really spoil something from 1999, but turns out Bruce Willis might not have been alive the whole time.
Say what?
What? Yeah, so to follow that up, and now you have Bruce Willis, starring in another M. Night Shyamalan film, and then you get another crazy twist at the end. I remember thinking like, oh my god, M. Night Shyamalan, he's going to be the greatest director of all time. He's only going to make amazing movies. That didn't play out how I thought it was. But I remember Unbreakable, man, like, so good. His directing style, too, it's like very slow burning. The scenes build. He'll start with this wide shot and really just kind of slowly go in on someone's face. You can kind of see the actors really being able to show a lot in these shots with their expressions. Kind of like how the kid is watching his dad, lift all the weights, and he's just like, how much was that? And he's just like, all of it, and it's like all these like little slow burn shots. I remember I was blown away when I saw it. I was like, just thought it was one of the coolest movies. And it's about superheroes. This is in a time where we were getting superhero movies, and now all of a sudden this one's like, it's like an actually good, kind of like, I shouldn't say actually good, but it was like this kind of award-winning style movie, like something that would like, make noise at the Oscars type of movie. And you're getting it about superheroes. I mean, for me at the time when I was at an age when I saw this, I was just like, this is the shit. This is so cool.
So what's crazy about this movie is that Elijah almost starts off like a groupie, and I mean in the sense of he's basically stalking David. Like, look, you have these powers, and David, rightfully so, is like, I've met people like you. You say all this shit, and then you go, all you have to do to, go ahead and continue with this is pay me, $15 or whatever. I mean, he's not wrong. Like, when he puts that point out, I went, yeah, that's fair enough. But Elijah is just, he's relentless with it. And so David is working security at a like a big stadium, right? And what's crazy about it is that when Elijah points out these little things like, why do you think you picked a security job when you could have done anything else? You find out that David could have gone, he could have gone pro. Like, let's be real, with football. And you find out he faked this injury because he wanted to go ahead and stay, keep his relationship with Robin Wright going. And I gotta be honest, dude, to give up a professional football career for a girl, I don't know if that's love or if that's stupidity, to be totally honest. Like, when he pointed that out, I went, okay, that's intense.
And he's the perfect football player. I mean, like, the biggest issue with the NFL is just like people get injured too harshly and they can't play. He wouldn't get injured. Like, he would play every game. He would be in perfect condition for every game. Oh man, what a waste. Just for a girl.
Yeah, right. Oh god, women are the worst. But I'm kidding. But what I do love about this though is that their son, David's son, there's a point where he's gonna shoot. He's gonna shoot his dad. And I remember rewatching this. I went, I forgot that at some point David's son was gonna shoot him. I went, wow, that is insanely intense. Number one, and number two. Joseph Dunn, by the way, is the character's name. But what's a trip about this movie is that it feels like it's in the real world. So David is denying this over and over and over. And I love the way Elijah Price, Samuel Jackson's character, breaks it down, where he talks about how, the heroic figures has like, more of a chiseled jawline, and the villains are more bulky or maybe skinnier, but don't have that chiseled, heroic jawline. And Elijah runs this really high-end art studio, and I'm not even gonna lie, dude. When I was looking at when I was rewatching this, I went, "This would be me." There's this scene where this guy goes, "Oh, I want to buy this piece of art," and Elijah goes, "You've made a great choice." He goes, "Oh, it's for my 4-year-old." And Elijah basically goes, "Get the fuck out of here." And I went, that would be me. I'd be like, nope, I'm not even wasting my talent on some 4-year-old who won't appreciate this. I love that scene so much. I went, oh man, this would be me being the pretentious goon I can be about comic book stuff. The action in this, it's very spread out, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this is an M. Night film in the way that it is very much a slow burn. Because The Sixth Sense is very slow burn. But the reward you get at the end of this, oh my god, the reward is so worth the journey you go through. It's a mind blown, like, what? Sort of ending. Yeah, if you kind of want to go ahead and talk about your thoughts about the middle of the movie and everything.
Yeah, especially the scene where Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson meet for the first time and have a sit down, and Bruce Willis has to ask his son to leave the room because it's just too uncomfortable with all the ideas that he's filling into his son's head, which are actually true when it comes out. But that scene was that's the whole movie right there. Is like the villain and the hero just sitting there and hashing it out. And then, like you said, you get that second meeting at the end where all of a sudden Elijah discloses his plan that he had been working towards to find him, and the big twist that drops at the end. I mean, and it's crazy. This type of movie where you're so interested in, like, how is this going to play out? Like, what is he going to do with his powers? And just seeing it develop, like, what is Elijah's role in all of this, and just how it all kind of ties in at the end. Like, you don't miss the action that you would get on a greater scale in a movie of the time, like an X-Men or Spider-Man. So it was really cool, like the different style of how a comic book movie could play out. It's good that we have both.
It's more of a psychological thriller with a comic book backdrop.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think what's so interesting about this, just as we kind of wrap up here, there's a scene where David Dunn goes ahead and, he's watching people kind of get into a stadium, and he sees this guy with like a long trench coat, and he goes, oh, he probably has a gun on him. And Elijah isn't 100% sold on the fact that David Dunn is who he says he is. So he's Mr. Glass. He's got a cane and everything. So he's walking fast after this dude. He falls, and I'll be honest, dude, it takes a lot to make me cringe. But when Elijah like breaks his arm and his leg, I was like, oh my god, like it is a cringe-worthy scene. But he sees a dude, turn, and he sees a gun in his trench coat, and he goes, okay, like David knew what he was talking about. And that is really the catalyst for Elijah to really keep prodding David and go, look, you have a gift. As someone who's a big Superman fan as a kid, and I still enjoy the hell out of Superman when he's written correctly. It's hard to write Superman, admittedly, but I love the fact that they bring up this thing where David almost drowned as a kid, and you kind of go, oh, that's kind of a throwaway thing. No, water is his kryptonite, and I'll be honest, it would have made a lot more sense to make David Dunn black, because black people hate water. Like, I could play David Dunn. Like, I hate water. I've been, oh man, dude, if I was a superhero and someone threw me in water, I'd be screwed. I'd be like, okay, well, been a good run, everybody. but
perfect kryptonite written for Hunter right there.
Yeah, exactly. But that and white women. But I digress. But the fact that water is David's kryptonite, and there's a scene where he saves these women who've been kidnapped near in the movie. He saves them, and it's a brutal scene. This dude who kidnapped these women, who's a piece of fucking shit, I cannot express that enough. He's thrown David against the walls and everything, and no effect. And that's when I'm sitting in the theater going, oh my god, like he's invulnerable basically except for water. And I went, oh my god, this is just crazy. And the score kicks in. And one thing's about this movie too, there's not a lot of score except when there needs to be. And I love that about this movie. And something that Elijah brings up as I kind of wrap up here, when he touches people, David kind of can get a glimpse into what they're doing. So he touches this woman, and he finds out she's been stealing jewelry, which I went, you're a goon, good for you. But he touches this guy, and he rapes this girl at a party. And dude, I won't go off about that, but what a piece of fucking shit. Like it's cringe worthy, and you just go, fuck, this happens in our world still. So when he beats this dude down and puts him in a chokehold, that I went, oh dude, fucking shook his predator ass out. Who has these women tied up to a radiator and all this. David Dunn, man, when he shakes Elijah's hand at the end, and you find out that Elijah was behind this train crash that David Dunn survived. I think they said like 200 people died in the train accident, and David's the only one to survive. I mean, first off, the guilt you'd feel to be the one person to survive this horrendous train crash. And let me tell you, it is a horrendous train crash, by the way. And the fact that wide shot it goes ahead and portrays when he's walking out of the emergency room and the doctor goes, "You don't have a scratch on you," and there's all these people who are just mourning over their loved ones. It is a gut punch when you see that. It's like, oh my god. So, I mean, wrapping up for me, dude. This is a fan-fucking-tastic. I love this movie so much, and this was like, pardon me, a huge floor and a huge influence for me not only getting the film, but me getting the comic book movie. So I love this movie. This is a fan-fucking-tastic. Colin, wrap up your thoughts and give me a grade, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is a fan-fucking-tastic for me too. Yeah, this is like an old classic. I have like, you know, like 20 films from like when I was around this age when this came out, of movies that were just like completely like blew me away. A lot of them, you know, a common theme was like movies that really had great twists. You know, there's like, you know, Usual Suspects and Fight Club and some other ones like that.
Great choices, by the way.
yeah, but this kind of was like in that same line where it was just like the movie's so interesting and so you're just so intrigued by what the hell is gonna play out once you get to the end and you hear like the twist. It's just it blows you away. You know, it would suck to have this movie spoiled for you.
Agreed.
You know, yeah. At this point, like, sorry if you haven't seen it. You're probably gonna know.
It's been 18 years. It's been 19 years.
You know, like
almost 19
like,
years. You should see this by now.
If somebody was to like watch this unknowingly, you know, like a younger person who if they stumbled across this, like I would kill to have that feeling of watching this for the first time again, because it's amazing. It's such a great mystery and thriller to watch and unfold, and the fact that it's all tied into comic book movies, yeah, definitely had a big influence on me too.
That's fair, man. So, guys, if you've seen Unbreakable, I hope you've seen Unbreakable. If you haven't, please let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you've seen this for the first time, I greatly envy you because I just adore this movie. I hadn't watched it in a couple years. About a year, pardon me. But I still love this movie. So let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman1st. And you can follow Colin on Twitter. Hi, Buster, I love you. And you can follow Colin on Twitter at...
Oh, The Real O'Neill.
Well done.
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. And you can like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Guys, we'll have a review up this weekend for Glass, along with a review up for Won't You Be My Neighbor. Guys, thank you so much for listening. You guys have a good weekend. You guys take care.
Peace.